The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency, Interlux Marine Paint, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.
Hey folks, Fred Golofaro here for the Fisherman's Weekly Fishing Forecast, and hey, it looks like we're going to have a great holiday weekend coming up weather-wise. Lots of good fishing opportunities too. Sea bass season's open now. This is the first weekend you'll have a shot at sea bass, and there's plenty of them. Good reports coming in from all around the island, North Shore, South Shore, East End. So sea bass should be part of your plans this weekend, even if you're targeting other species. With the 3-fish bag limit that runs up until the end of August, you should have no problem filling your limit, and then you can set your sights on other species like fluke or porgies, striped bass, whatever else you want to do. But definitely cash in on the sea bass, great eating, plenty of them, and there's a lot of big ones out there. We've written about it, we've spoken about it. You can have a lot of fun with these fish if you drop down to light tackle. Get yourself a 6-foot spinning rod, 6.5-foot spinning rod, light action, 10-pound test braid, small jig heads like anywhere from a ½ ounce to an ounce, and tip it with some gulp, a squid, and you'll have a ball. And you can catch a limit, but you can go way beyond that and just have a lot of fun catching these fish. And also for catching fluke. Yeah, there's plenty of short fluke in some areas, but they're a ball on the light tackle. You can still have a lot of fun with them. Speaking of fluke fishing, Montauk is still top shelf. A lot of quality fish coming from the point. Fishing's going on along the south side, 60 to 70 feet of water for the most part, and limit catches of fish from 4 to 8 pounds, not unusual, and there's been a few big fish, over 10 pounds in the mix as well. Same deal here with the light tackle. Not so much in Montauk, but once you get down along the South Shore bays, a lot of the best fishing has been on the last of the incoming and the first of the outgoing. With that light tackle, spinning tackle, you can fish right through slack water. Those fish don't stop eating. You can still catch them. The problem is you get a poor drift, the current dies, and you can still, with a spinning rod cast, work your lure back to the boat, you'll continue catching fish right through slack water. Throw a bucktail, tipped with gulp or spearing, and you'll have plenty of action. And again, it's a lot of fun. Speaking of tides and currents, a lot of people look at the tide tables to figure out, how they want to fish. I told you the last couple hours of the incoming, beginning of the outgoing. If you're looking at the tide tables, you're going to be way off. Take Fire Island Inlet, for example. The difference between the tide and the current is 2 hours, 45 minutes. That can be affected by wind too, but generally 2 hours, 45 minutes. Meaning, if high tide is at 12 o'clock, high slack water, in other words, that water is still going to be coming in for 2 hours and 45 minutes. So that's the period you want to be fishing, not prior to 12 noon. So keep that in mind when you're planning your fluke fishing in the bays. North Shore's got some pretty good fluke fishing as well. Jamaica Bay had a good fluke bite the last couple of days. I got some good reports from there. And don't forget the stripers. Still plenty of big stripers on the bunker schools, and they still seem to be hanging to the west. The most consistent fishing is still from Jones Inlet west, although there have been some good shots of fish outside Fire Island, just not as consistently. Still chunking bass up in the Sound, but if you're looking for a 40 or 50 pounder, your best bet is definitely down along the South Shore. Hey, have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy yourself, be safe, and catch plenty of fish. Have a good time. Fred Golofaro here for the Fisherman. Until next week, good fishing.
The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency, Interlux Marine Paint, Maxima Fishing Line, and Okuma.